Welcome to day 6 of my seasonal 7 series, where I post 7 videos in 7 days leading up to and themed around the winter solstice. Now, I decided to put on some lipstick, and I don't know if it's on my teeth. I tried to check before the video started, but it could happen at any point. So if it does, please just ignore it. Now, we're going to talk about books today. These are the books that I've read since my last book review video. It's not a huge list, but I'm hoping to give you some inspiration for things to read throughout the winter. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Quick side note, I do have a book club. You can just follow along on social media and read the books that I post. Or if you would like to actually partake in a monthly Zoom meeting where we do like an actual speaking book club, my Patreon, the lowest tier on my Patreon is the book club tier. All you have to do is be on there and you can join my Zoom club once a month, and we'll have little chit chats about all the books. So if you'd like to, link below. Now let's get into the books. First one up, Distills and Privacy. Now this is one of those books that I feel like everyone has read but me, I thought. So I made it, this was actually my first book club book. And it was phenomenal. I recommend it highly. I get now why everyone was like, you haven't read it? Why haven't you read it? It's amazing. It is amazing. It's a really great book. It's really great because it essentially summarizes the spiritual ascension journey in a way that is like story format. It's and amazing and like adventurous, and it keeps you on your toes. Like it's really well written. I listened to the audiobook. I literally just would lay down and listen to it and be like, oh, this is so good. I wanted to listen to the audiobook while I was cleaning or multitasking. That's why I listen to audiobooks, is so I can multitask. But I just would like get sunk into the story and just sit down and listen to it like a kid at story time. This book is fantastic. Side note, all of the links for all these books will be down below. They will probably all be Amazon affiliate links, so I'll get a small commission if you purchase it within 24 hours of clicking on it. So just FYI, it doesn't cost you anymore. It just gives me a couple of cents. So Distills and Privacy is the first one on my list, and it's fucking fantastic. It really is. If you haven't read it, like I hadn't, I would recommend it highly. Next up is Code Red. Now, Code Red is all about the feminine cycle, menstrual cycle. And I get that all the dudes are gonna be like, ugh, but honestly, I think it would be good for men to read. I think it would be really good for men to read also. This is not just like about a period or about our periods. This is about, this is something I've been reading for the last, I've been on a real feminine journey for the last couple of years, honestly. And part of it has been getting to know my internal system and cycle. A woman holds all 4 seasons within her body every cycle. We have these phases. It's so, once you understand it, it's phenomenal. And it all makes sense. And the way that she kind of helps you track it is really great. The other book that I recommend, I don't have it with me right here, is Rise Sister Rise. I reviewed that in my previous video. This is kind of after Rise Sister Rise. I read this one. It was also a book club book. The subtitle is Know Your Flow, Unlock Your Monthly Superpowers, and Create a Bloody Amazing Life, period. It's a fantastic play of words. But it's really not just about the mechanics of a period. And even if you are like menopausal, still a fantastic read. Like you still have the same cyclical nature. And I think getting to know it is really powerful. It's getting to know yourself. And if winter is good for anything, it is getting to know yourself. So, and for men, I think I think it just would help. I think it would just help. I feel like this is information that was once really well known. Like this was standardized information once upon a time. Men understood this about women, and women knew it about themselves, and that has just gone over the eons on account of the patriarchy. But the feminine is rising, so like get on the team. A lot of the books in this list are gonna be books I didn't finish. Again, I haven't had a particularly productive reading cycle. I've been off traveling and doing stuff and doing a lot of shadow work. I did a lot in the last year. It's been a wild year for me. It's been a fantastic year, but it's been a wild ride. This is one of those books. This is from Inner Traditions. Now, they got a hold of me and they were like, hey, do you want some books? and their catalog is fire. Like, it's so, there's so many books on there that I want. I actually only ended up getting a couple. This one and another one, which I haven't even started the one, so I won't even talk about it. But I did start this one. I have yet to finish it. It seemed interesting. I'm very interested in the synchronicity of how this pertains to my understanding of the cyclical nature of history. Hold on. The other book that I haven't finished is Graham Hancock's Magician of the Gods. Now, if you know who Graham Hancock is, then you know what this is about. This is the kind of thing that I'm hoping this will tie into, essentially. But I haven't gotten very far into it. It's so far just been kind of almost mythology information, kind of historical information. It hasn't really gotten into the sacred geometry kind of stuff yet. But I expect that it will. It says the Golden Age. So, like, I'm confident it has to do with these massive cosmic cycles, which is one of the things Graham Hancock talks about a lot. This is a topic that I'm really passionate about. I haven't made a lot of content about it on my channel. I do plan to. I have always planned to. I just have not yet been in a position to do so. I haven't felt confident enough to do so. I haven't felt educated enough to do so. But I will tell you, this is another book that I'm currently trying to get through. As you can see, it is not nothing. And Graham Hancock is very meticulous about his data. So it's a very data-heavy book. This one seems like it's going to be more theoretical, historical, mythological kind of based. Both of these, I think, are good if you're into alternative human history and the idea of ancient civilizations like, oh, I don't know, Atlantis. This is the kind of stuff you're going to want to read. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. I know I am. So one of my book club books, I didn't even finish. And it's a cult favorite. Women Who Run with the Wolves. Listen, everyone swears by it. This is 2 years on the New York Times bestseller list. Like, this is a deeply spiritual book. She honors what is tough, smart, and untamed in women. She venerates the feminine soul. Like, it's supposed to be this incredibly, like, visceral experience reading this book. Unleash your feminine. But I don't know if it's because I've already done the, like, I've been reading a lot of feminine material and I've been on a real feminine journey, but I found this to be, if I'm honest, fucking boring. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let the comments unleash. Listen, have at it. I feel like I'm the odd man out here. I will tell you this. I am like the only person I've ever met. This book was purchased for me by another person who was like, you have to read this. A girl that I know, a friend of mine, who never reads books. She says she can't read books. Got this book and read it, like, and loved it. Like, everyone loves this book but me. And maybe I'll read it, finish it later in life and I'll love it, but I thought it was boring, honestly. She was just rambling about metaphorical mythology and the feminine nature, and maybe it's because, I don't know, I've already been on this feminine journey, so like, I get it. I understand all these, the maiden, the mother, the wild woman, the crone, like, I understand it. And I also feel like, as a side note, if you're familiar with those cycles, we have the maiden, the mother, the wild woman, and the crone. Those are the 4 archetypes within the woman, right? I feel like, and I didn't read very much of this book to be fair, but I feel like this book really focuses on the wild woman archetype and doesn't give enough space to the additional archetypes. And that might just be because I didn't finish the book. So feel free to come for me in the comments. That's fucking justified. But I will tell you, I didn't finish it. Maybe one day, but I didn't finish it. So this book, it's not a book that I really read. It's a book I've been referencing a lot. And actually, if you watched my very first video from this series, which was the seasonal alignment video, I read a poem in that video at the end. That poem came from this book. It is The Witch's Herbal Apothecary. Rituals and Recipes for a Year of Earth Magic and Sacred Medicine Making. It's not a book that I'm like reading, but she does talk about every fucking season. I'm clearly all about seasonal alignment. I wish I could remember. I feel terrible about this. I'm pretty sure one of you guys gifted me this, and I'm real sorry that I can't remember who or if that's even the case. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it's the case. I just don't remember who it was. This was on my wish list. I have an Amazon wish list that I post on my videos, and sometimes people send me things from it. And this was one of those things I wanted, and I got it, and it's fucking phenomenal. Like, I'm super grateful. I don't remember I feel terrible. I don't remember who bought it for me, but it's really great. This talks about each season and the way, it's just so grounded. It's just really grounded. A lot of times I find that, like, witchy books, magic books, they tend to be very ungrounded. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, they're just very, like, do these steps and your life will change. This is very much about, like, using plants, making teas, making medicine, talking about the philosophy behind the seasons, which you already know I'm all about. She talks about a lot of the, like, correspondences. I actually grabbed this book when I went to go start this series, the Season 07 series. I went through her winter part to be like, God, yes, just to get some inspiration going. And it's beautiful. It's like there's tons of this little, like, artwork in it too. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just, I recommend this book a lot. It's a great reference book. I have it, like, it's not a book that I'm reading from to cover, like cover to cover. It's a book that I'm referencing. So I keep picking up and being like, does she have anything in here about da 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 da? Like, that's what I've been doing a lot, and I love it a lot. I also have another reference book I wanted to give you guys. I realize, I don't think I've mentioned it before. This is not a book that I read. This is a book I reference constantly. But it is the, I can never fucking say this company's name, so please don't be mad at me. Lowens, I don't fucking know. Lowens Little Book of Spirit Animals. I've had this for, I don't know, a couple years now. It's, as you can see, it's kind of raggedy. This has fucking every animal in it. Wild animals, domesticated animals, and even mythical animals. I'm a big advocate of animal medicine. So, for example, a week or so ago, I was driving the kids to school. It was dark out. It's early in the morning. And a deer ran right in front of my car. Like, I almost hit that deer. I had a heart attack. I was scared. And then later that night, I was outside on my front porch. It was like, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the morning. I was just standing on my porch. And a deer ran across my neighbor's yard. And I was like, oh, right, a deer. I saw a deer this morning. And so I went ahead and looked deer up. And I do that a lot. I mean, I see animals all the time. There's a lot of common animals like squirrels and crows and stuff I don't necessarily look up unless something very prominent or unusual happens with them, and then I will look it up. But if I start to see a lot of the same animal, even on social media, if I start to see lizards over and over and over again, I'll look up lizards, whatever the thing is. And I find that I often get a lot of really important messages from doing so. So I will link this below as well. It's just it's just a tiny little book, but it's full of information, and it's super good just to help you on your path. You get messages for what you need to know. So the last book I want to tell you about is December's book of the month for my book club. I haven't read it yet. I just announced it like a week ago. But since it's December and you're watching this video, then I was gonna have you join us, read the book with us. So we'll all read this book together. I haven't read it yet, but I chose a book this month that was small because I knew I would be busy this month with this series and other stuff. So I chose a very simple book, and I'm confident that it's good because he's the author of The Four Agreements, which I will also link below. This book is fantastic. It's like, it's the four agreements. It's a terrible description. It's a personal guide to essentially live your life, not taking things so personally, to live your life sovereign and peaceful and free. It's a beautiful book. It's very small. It's very simple. I also have the medicine bag by him. Subtitle is Shamanic Rituals and Ceremonies for Personal Transformation. It's just little things that you can do to help you connect with nature and the spirit realm. I love both of these. I'll link them below as well. So I knew that this one would also be good. I actually think one of you guys bought me this one too. And I also don't remember who that was. And thank you. I forgot who bought it. But I appreciate you tremendously. So this is our December book of the month, and I am inviting you to join me and the other Atlanteans who would like to read it. I haven't read it yet, but again, these are fantastic. I have no doubt it'll be phenomenal. I would like not just this video, but the comment section below to become an inspirational place for books to read this winter. So please, I ask you to comment below your favorite books, and by all means peruse the comments, please, and find other books that you might want to read. As for these books I've talked about, I will link them in the description box below. And again, if you want to join the book club, it'll be on Patreon, or you can literally just follow me on Instagram, Facebook, join my Facebook group on Facebook, and I'll post the books. We'll have chats there as well. You don't have to actually pay to be a Patreon, but donations are fucking welcome. Have a good day, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.